broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 84 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. As usual, how's it going, gentlemen?
Okay.
Okay. Just okay?
Okay. Busy and okay? Busy.
Yeah?
Busy.
Good. Other than I get to be the tired one this week because you got me up too early. So we can't win.
We're doing this a little early this week, and Trevor's a little bit behind us because he's a couple hours behind. So, he's a little sleepy. So
we need at least one tired person on the podcast, though.
That's the rule. There's always got to be one.
I'm
person.
always tired, so it doesn't really matter.
That's funny. Well,
and you guys are going to get ice crunching today because I've realized with this ice maker that it's gotten better the longer you use it. So.
Wait, what do you mean? You bought like I don't think everybody knows what you're talking about because you posted in our group and not everybody's in the group. So
that's true. I have the Opal ice maker, the chewy ice maker.
Was it just like crushed ice? Is this just like crushed ice?
No, it's chewy ice.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Okay, that's chewy ice.
That's crushed ice.
That's not crushed ice.
Like a snow cone?
Oh my goodness! No, it's called chewy ice. I don't know how else to help. It's actually officially called nugget ice, if you really want the correct term. But no, it's so how it's actually made is, you put water in the freezer and it freezes. This is not how this works. It kind of scrapes. It's kind of like when they make those ice creams on the slab.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about.
So it makes ice like that, so it's not hard. And that's why it's chewy ice, nugget ice. Like I said, it's what you get at Sonic or at Chick-fil-A.
Okay, like a slush. All right.
No, that's not a slush. Please, audience, please help me out to tell me that these people don't know what they're talking about.
This seems incredibly foreign to me. I don't understand this, but okay.
So think about it like it's a rolled tube of ice. So it's not necessarily a solid piece of ice. It's like I said, when they make ice cream on the slab and then they make those rolls out of it, it's like that in an ice form. So it's chewier, it's nugget ice, and it's the same thing as Sonic, which is not a slushy.
So you have to remember that I don't have access to things like Sonic.
Okay, so what do you guys have that has like good ice? Like you guys have what?
We
like
have
donut places. What's the?
7-Eleven.
That's not what I'm talking about. Wait, what's the
That's
donut
what
place? Tim Hortons? Is that what that is?
They don't. No. They don't do anything resembling a good ice drink.
I mean, that's the only place I know in Canada. That's the only reason why I bring it up. And I only know that from How I Met Your Mother. So,
if of all the places I thought we were going to start today, talking about ice was not anywhere in the vicinity of what I thought we were going to start talking about. That's pretty.
We're learning things.
Yeah, we are. I had one of those ice cream places down the street from my house, and it closed. I was very bummed about it. One of those cool. I think in our area anyway. They call it the Cuban ice cream. I don't know if that's the actual term for it, but it was Cuban rolled ice cream. I don't know if that was what. I don't know if that's where it comes from or if it's in other places. But I loved going there, but it unfortunately closed. But anyway, before we get into stuff, I wanted to update everybody. So my DVC contract, passed right of first refusal. So that's exciting. Not that I'm surprised, but because Disney's not buying back contracts. But so I passed, and unfortunately the sellers can't close until September. So I'm just kind of going to be sitting around twiddling my thumbs until September. So not that it matters anyway. There's no points in the contract. So until 2022. So I don't really care. But anyway, yeah, so just wanted to update everybody on that. Yeah.
No,
I know.
I didn't realize they could wait that long to close. I thought
it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, Trevor, because when I got the email that said, you guys can't close until September, I emailed our buddy Derek, and I was like, Derek, what's this about? What's the deal with it does not close until September? And he said, oh yeah, it said it on the listing. And I was like, it did? It's like, I don't remember that. Like, I don't really care. Like I said, I'm not like upset about this because like I'm not going anytime soon, and there's no points in this contract until 2022, so I really don't care. So, but I was like, really? It said that? I don't remember that in any way, shape, or form. And he was like, oh yeah, it says it right on the listing. So for those of you that are buying contracts in the future, there is a part of DVC resale market on each listing that says can close by and the date. And apparently it's because these people are going on a vacation before September. So, which I thought to myself, okay, so what happens if they cancel their vacation? What happens to those points? Do they have to use, like, how does that work? I actually feel ignorant about this. I feel like I should know the answer.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, I guess if they cancel, the points go back into the contract and the use years and everything apply. So you would just inherit whatever's there at that point.
I guess so, right? I don't know. Well, then that stinks for them, because then they really would have gotten, I would have gotten a really good deal then, because part of the reason I got the contract so cheap is that it was stripped. So,
well,
yeah.
But I guess the learning here is, read the fine print.
Yeah, that's true. Read the fine print. Just know that there's something there that says, when they can close. So now I know. Look at that.
Yeah. I don't think I ever paid attention to that either last time I bought a contract.
I just didn't. And Derek was like, oh yeah, it's on there. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know. Didn't realize it at all. My bad. Again, I don't care. It's actually kind of nice because I can, wait a little bit now to write a check. But it's like, but yeah. So we'll see. I don't think anything's going to change with that. But I passed right of first refusal, which is the hard part. Only took a little over a month, and I'm just glad Disney didn't buy it back. Although they're not really buying anything back right now. So I don't know why I was even worried about it. So all right. So. Anything you guys want to update before we get into everything here?
No, I don't think so.
Damon, anything from you?
Just go listen to my other podcast.
Yeah,
because it's awesome.
It's
not as awesome as this one. Because it's funny. We were going through this, and we just recorded our 4th episode on Thursday, and the amount of ums that they had was like mind-boggling. So after the episode was over, and they're both teachers. You guys are teachers. Like, what's up? And, so I kind of made it out like, well, it was easy for us. We did it and it was no problem. Like, we just turned it on and, so then, after it all went down, I was like, yeah, it probably took us like 60 episodes. That's what I told him. I was like, it probably took us like 60 episodes. But I've noticed that all the little things that we've kind of had to go through as a podcast, it's interesting to kind of do it again with a little bit of insight into the process and how hard it is. I think that a lot of people don't realize how hard doing a podcast is because most people can just hit pause and go do something else. Like, we're not, stuck's a bad term, but you're in front of the mic for a while. I mean, I multitask, so it's a little different, but you're still in front of the mic. So I don't think people realize what sort of effort it takes. And then the other thing I realize is how lucky we are to have such a large audience that we really didn't have to do too much for, to be honest with you.
Wow. I mean, we worked on it a little bit. I mean, but you're right. It was a lot of word of mouth and a lot of people promoting us in Facebook groups and, but it did take some time to build the audience. But once it started building, it just really kept building. So,
yeah. So go help me out. Boomtron Podcast, please.
Help Damon out.
Make me feel better.
Help him become awesome.
That's right.
Exactly.
All right. So Damon, do you want to introduce this first topic since this was your idea on the Facebook group?
I want to say it was my idea, but I think I found it somewhere else, so I can't really take.
Oh, so you stole this? This is a stolen idea?
This is what I'm gonna say. I don't remember stealing it from another group. And that's honest to goodness, but it's probably possible that I did. So I don't want to go out and say that it was my idea when it was not.
The original idea. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was kind of for fun. And it's like, give bad Disney advice. I made it pretty easy. If you don't like the heat, Florida in August is the best time to go. But then we had some real winners here. And for me, I had to go with Chris. Chris F. He wrote 10 Commandments, and it was so good that I had to, and he took the time to write it, that I had to go back and ask him, like, did you take this from somewhere? Did you write it himself? And he 100% wrote it himself. And I would say that was probably my favorite of all of them.
Are you gonna read them for everybody?
Oh my goodness, there's 10 of them. I don't think I'm gonna read them all. I'm gonna say, if you haven't joined the group, go join the group and read the WDW, the 10 Commandments. the wait list, the Welcome Home Disney wait list. I guess that's WDIW, right?
WHDW.
WH.
Yeah, I guess that's okay though, right? So
WHDW.
Yeah.
And go read them. It's definitely worth it. I think that actual post is worth the price of admission to the group in general.
Well, are we going to read any of these? I'd like to read some of them.
Okay, so I would say for him, I would say, let's see. If you need a place to cool off or simply relax in the AC, go to Victoria and Albert's. Great place for the kiddos to blow off some steam too. Like that was a good one. But, most guests will be super impressed by your craftiness if you stand in line solo and then allow your 10-person party to meet you in front of the line. They may just make you mayor of Main Street.
That's good.
I do have to call out Mark's as well. The bathrooms in Toontown are the nicest in Disneyland. Yeah.
Not so much.
I feel you on that one, Mark. So Toontown is in Disney World. The equivalent is the Toontown Fair, which is like where Goofy's, the Barnstormer is.
The Barnstormer. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So similar area. I mean, honestly, actually, even those bathrooms by the Barnstormer are better than the ones in Toontown. It's a little chaotic back there. So, yeah, I feel you, Mark.
It's funny because the ones that I liked were all in a row. So Chris was like, buy DVC. It's an inexpensive way to get all sorts of entitlements and extras that regular guests don't. That was great. But then Colin comes in with maybe the game winner. Yeah, you don't need deodorant. And that is a tough one to part. That will give you that.
I think we've all experienced that one at one point or another.
Yeah. I don't understand.
Yeah, remember everyone, this is worst advice, not best advice.
So, I mean, obviously it's, a lot of people poking fun at things that people do that are bewildering, but yeah, it's fun to kind of see that side of it.
Make sure you don't take the monorail. Make sure you take the monorail to Harry Potter World. It's faster and nicer than boats or buses. That's from Heather. I like that one. Mm-hmm. How annoyed do you think cast members get when somebody walks up to them and says, "Where's the Harry Potter area?" Like while they're at Disney, I'm sure that happens all the time.
I feel that they would make a game out of it. Like I that's what I would do at least.
I would hope so. Let's see what else we got here.
Also, Gregory with wait until after the fireworks and to leave Magic Kingdom if you're riding the bus.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Actually, even getting on the ferry, I've done that one, and yeah, that is a wonderful time.
Oh yeah.
But I think the comment that steals the post is again from Chris R, who says, "We are more like you, Damon, than some of us care to admit." I mean, how do you beat that as a comment?
There's a little bit of Damon in everybody.
Exactly.
That's really funny. I was a fan of Chris putting in nobody ever thinks to let's cut through the Emporium to get out of Magic Kingdom faster. That's pretty funny. I cut through the Emporium all the time. That's really a good place to go, but it is a little chaotic to do that. Oh man, there's like 109 comments in here, so like I couldn't even write them all down. There were too many.
You know what I find though is when I have a post that I enjoyed posting, is that as we get bigger and the group gets bigger, it's like I want to post it again. And I'm always like, I kind of gauge myself. When is an appropriate time to use up this good post? That's kind of how I feel sometimes.
I get that.
I feel we could, something like this post, if we remembered in a year, we could almost make it like a yearly tradition where, or like designate, June is the time where we give our best bad advice or something like that. But
do you take the same post and then just push it to the top, or do you start another one?
I would start a new one just to give people a chance to kind of re-engage on it from the ground floor.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Not to do a sponsor shout out, but I did like Derek's our buddy Derek from DVC Resale Market, his little comment. Did you guys see this? Definitely buy DVC while on vacation and spend too much money without doing any research. Whatever you do not look into DVC Resale Market, and in parentheses, insert shameless plug here. So that was good, Derek. You gotta love Derek for promoting DVC resale.
Reverse promoting.
Yeah, reverse promoting. That's right. I mean, but you know what? It's true though. How many people do go to the parks and buy it as an impulse buy, and we see that all the time. And a lot of times those folks are not super happy.
It's true. And yeah, if they came home and thought about it and did a bit of research, yeah, and then you find DVC resale market.
Yeah, exactly. I have to take issue with Jamie's post here. Peter Pan is totally worth the wait. I think it is. Okay, thank you.
I don't know about that. It depends if you've gone on it before.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how many times you've been to Disney. First time around, agreed, classic, have to do it. But if you've been there, I don't know.
Magical.
It's skippable for sure.
Yeah, I have not done that ride every trip. That's for sure.
Me neither. We definitely will pick, like, if there's a morning where we happen to be there and we know we can rope drop it, we will. But yeah,
I should have put one on here. Flight of Passage is a technology marvel. Make sure not to miss it. And there was a post on another group that I was following, and it was about the nonsense rumor of Disney buying Blizzard, right?
Oh yeah, we talk about that, yeah.
Right, so it was just funny, and I was watching it, but the amount of people that were in that post that didn't care for Flight of Passage, as they were all gamers, made me happy, made me realize that I'm not alone, that it's not just me, that they hate that ride as well.
I could see just not liking it, but actively hating it. My gosh.
Yeah. Well, I actively hate it because it's something I could, again, as we talk about, I could walk right over and probably do something near that in my, loft with somebody spritzing some water in my face and running an oil diffuser.
What about the movement piece of it though? You need the movement there.
I could have somebody jump on my back and shake me a little bit. I don't know. I could ride my dog. There's a few options. Put a little doggy saddle on the back of my dog and ride it like a, whatever those things are called.
Seems like a lot of work where you could just go on the ride. I mean,
yeah, well,
okay. I could, I have that built in. Like, that cost is very low. There's no travel. There's nothing like that. I need like a big, like, Marmaduke dog, and then I think I could really pull it off.
And Tom, you say, you could just ride the ride, but, if you were going to do standby, you would be in line for 2 hours. I think you could get all that stuff together in less than 2 hours.
That's probably true. Listen, I'm not in favor of waiting for anything in line more than, I'm going to say my maximum is like an hour and a half at the most.
I would say that's probably my maximum as well.
And maybe that's probably what plays into it, is that for the amount of hype and everything around it is, it's fair that some people feel disappointed with it, because honestly, I wouldn't get on it.
You're not hurting my feelings. Yeah. I mean, if you guys could walk on every time, that still wouldn't hurt my feelings. Like, I don't know if that would make me like the ride any better. I don't think it would.
I think the hype plays into it a lot. You're right. You're absolutely entitled to not enjoy every ride, but I think it's because it got a weird amount of overhype, I think, because Pandora was so long in coming about.
And it's this weird, like, it's got to compete against technology where not a lot of other rides have to do that. Yeah. Right? There's no nostalgia in bad graphics. I mean, I guess there is, right? Maybe if it was 8-bit Flight of Passage, maybe, right? Like, but there's really no nostalgia in that. And I feel like they're competing against such a rapidly evolving virtual reality home setup that, I don't know, like, you're going to watch, you know what it's going to be, Trevor? You're going to see a PS5 game and you're going to go, wow, this is like 10 times better than Flight of Passage. And then what?
You're right. It's in that weird space. It's kind of like where arcade games got to before the consoles got big, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like, arcade games used to be like miles ahead. And then when home consoles caught up, the arcades died. Yeah, they faded away, right? And you'll probably say the same thing with these kinds of experiences, is that as home setups get closer to that equivalent, there will be less and less, I don't want to say need, but yeah, it won't be as fantastic as, I guess, some of the other experiences, which is funny, because even, some of the, like, rides that were built, 40, 50 years ago still hold up, because You're right.
They're low tech.
They're not competing with, bleeding edge technology.
And it's funny because even something like Toy Story Mania, which in theory is a game that we actually had that game for the Wii, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we had it for the Wii. And I mean, it was fun, but there's something to be said about that right there in front of you. What can you pull off sort of gaming number situation? The competition is there where there is no competition in Flight of Passage. So even when, and it's also cartoony, which makes a little difference for the Toy Story Mania, but Toy Story Mania is always going to be a competition, and I'm okay with that. That's the fun part about it. So the low tech part can be there. It's again, it's a competition. Flight of Passage, if it was like a
knocking everybody else off their benches.
Pod racers. Now that would be like a phenomenal thing if we had that experience, but you raced it. Oh,
like you're racing against other people.
I'd be there all day. That wouldn't even be a question. I would call that a big win at that point.
Well, but I think that theme parks, including Disney, are kind of moving towards those kinds of experiences where they're gamifying everything, right? Where it's even
but this was the perfect experience then, and they missed it.
Well, I guess, but I mean, there's nothing to shoot at, I guess. I mean,
you don't need to shoot. You just need to be fast.
I guess, but how are you fast? I don't know the controls. I guess with the Millennium Falcon ride, they kind of, did that, right? I mean, they gamified it.
That's a little too rails, though, I feel like, for that one. Like, I think
that's an on-rail shooter versus racing game,
Yeah, no, they're different things. I'm just saying that they're moving towards gamifying things more.
But the thing is, like, in Millennium Falcon, can you really win?
Well, I mean, you can get
Chewy mode,
points. Oh, you Chewy mode. Oh man, I that seemed way too difficult to do that Chewy mode. I read the instructions and I was like, "There's no way I'd accomplish this." But that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not quick enough for that.
Yeah, seemed fine.
It seemed difficult to me, but no, I do think that, kind of to your point, as theme parks move on like this, and with the technology that there is at home, they do have to create more interactive experiences where you're not just a passenger and you're interacting with the environment around you, right? I mean, that's really kind of where things are moving. So I think that's a lot of what Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was, and it was supposed to be, right? There was going to be that whole reputation thing. I don't even know whatever happened to that. I feel like they talked that up, and then nothing ever happened with that. Right?
Yeah. Again, that there's this is kind of the problem with them. I feel there was some experimentation done, and even like they tried that game in Frontierland, where they had like was it Rainbow Ridge versus I can't even remember it now, but yeah, they had a mini game kind of like that, where like the whole land was kind of competing against each other. And again, it sounds good on paper, but unless you have the same people playing through it, like on a day-to-day basis, it just doesn't seem to work. Yeah.
It's hard to execute, and I wasn't ever like particularly excited about that, but it is kind of a bummer that some of the things that they talked up in the beginning didn't really come to fruition like we thought they would. So,
well, I feel that they're not done with it either.
No, it's definitely not done. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think it's definitely, all these things can happen in the future, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, do you guys want to get into the topics that we were asked to cover on this? Are there any other bad Disney advice you want to give?
No, actually, I want to hear the answer to this first question.
Okay, let's see. What do we got here? I don't know
if there's an answer. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Chris asks, I think it's time we got the full villain backstory of Geoffrey. I know there's been some back and forth about the correct spelling, but obviously it's Geoffrey with a Geoffrey. As that spelling screams out anarchy.
And it's interesting. I think I have to use the Wayback Machine. There was once an actual page all about Geoffrey. There was.
Where? Really? What, like just on the internet floating around? Like,
well, yeah, I wrote it. Like, I wrote a page about Geoffrey because I was going to do a project with him, and it was on the internet. So I feel like if I kind of dug that out from the Wayback Machine. I just don't remember what site it was at. We had a few different sites, but there was a whole written, like, it, you know, Geoffrey was, in theory, it had to do with time travel and the way Geoffrey worked. And, you know, what happened is Geoffrey was in, you know, pretty much a younger version of somebody that was doing reviews. Not me per se, but there was a whole backstory to Geoffrey. I just don't know if I can dig it up. I wonder maybe if I wrote it down. A lot of things that I write, though, I just do straight on, like, WordPress, like just spur of the moment and just write them, and then they go away, right? I do actually have some old sequel of some of this stuff. It's possible. I don't know how much effort I want to put into this question, but there is a whole backstory and there is time travel involved.
I just want to, can I read out these follow-up questions?
Please read the questions. Yeah, please.
It almost reads like a movie trailer. Like, why is he so bitter? Who hurt him in the past? Why does he have a knee-jerk reaction to take up a contrary position to Tom, regardless of the subject? Like,
I want to know that answer. I want to know why Geoffrey's constantly disagreeing with me about everything.
I think that Geoffrey is just one of those people that is very opinionated. He can be opinionated.
He can.
He's allowed to be opinionated. I don't know if he's bitter per se. I mean, I don't know if he's been hurt in the past. I think that he's just more opinionated than anything, and he likes to get his point across. I don't know if I could sum Geoffrey up any better than that. I mean, he just...
When you have Geoffrey up, though, like, is he any different from Damon? Like, does he have different opinions than Damon, or is Geoffrey just, you know, pretty much Damon?
I think he's got some different opinions. Like I said, I really feel like I wish I could find this story now, because they're getting this, like, this huge, like, you know, I don't mean huge, but it's definitely bigger than a page of just, you know, what Geoffrey's deal is.
What his deal is.
This sounds like a treasure hunt.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a treasure hunt. I just, in my head, I just don't know where that would be. Like, I just don't know where I could find that. We do a lot of website kind of cleansing to keep the SQL database small. So I'm sure that at some point that got, you know, deleted. But was it ever crawled? You know, is the Wayback Machine? I don't know. I could try.
All right. Well, I appreciate that really good question from Chris. I think it's a good question there. So
you know, Chris, that this means that I'm not going to be doing anything on this episode besides looking now, though. I mean, that's you've doomed this episode.
You've distracted him for the entire episode.
Exactly.
So Dan,
until we talk about MagicBands.
About MagicBands, yes, we will get there. There. So I left it towards the end. Just we'll tease this. We're gonna have a conversation about MagicBands. So you got to listen to the whole episode. Dan wants to know. He said all he said was phone call only to make dinner reservations. So that is something that's been announced recently. And you know, it's obviously temporary, right? So this is temporary until they, you know, fully open or open more. But I guess Dan wants to know what our opinion is about having to make a phone call for dining reservations. I would hate that. I don't like calling anywhere. And I like just, you know, throwing in a time into the app and being like, oh, here are my options. You know, I usually don't want to call and be like, you know, what are my options during this time? That's just a lot of my time. I just don't feel like dealing with that.
Well, you know, it's funny because when you call in, they're literally just doing that. They're bringing up the app and they're
doing the same thing
and reading off the times. But then it's like, you know, when somebody's talking to you, you feel pressured to, like, you know, they give you like 3 or 4 options and you're like,
that's right.
You have to make like a snap decision, right? Whereas like you can kind of mull it over a little bit when you get or like you can keep adjusting your times on the app. So yeah, phone calls are definitely more annoying because it feels like you don't want to waste the other person's time either. Or at least I know, like when I'm on the phone, it's like, you know, I want to make sure that I know what it is I want. So I'll do a bunch of research on the website first. And then, you know, if I need to call, I'll do so. But yeah, I don't like this system at all, but I know that it's temporary too. So
yeah, I mean, listen, a lot of this stuff is temporary, and it's stuff that nobody wants to go through. And I think somebody posted in the group, man, Disney really doesn't want people coming right now. And I think that's true. I do think that's true.
Yeah.
It's, they are doing a lot of things to restrict it. And I think they're trying to hold people back and be like, let's slowly do this thing and slowly bring it back in and be as careful as they possibly can. So
it's kind of like rope drop, you have, I remember years ago, I was in Disneyland with my family, and my dad pointed out how, there was literally like a couple hundred people standing there, and it was just a very thin rope, literally rope drop, a very thin rope with this one cast member standing there. And he pointed out, he's like, it's amazing how, like, we could all just totally ignore this and bust through and, ignore them, but everybody stays behind the rope. And that's kind of what they're doing right now is, that Disney is like, they're holding back the rope and they're telling people, no, you can come, but it's going to be on our terms.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Yeah. That's a good way to describe it. Go ahead, Damon. Sorry.
So what I found in my limited research, which is interesting, is that there's actually, I have a YouTube video of Geoffrey being made. So from the sketches, from the artist, the guy that did, the actual puppet, because he did some stuff for the Muppets, to him actually in his home, the puppeteer, making some crazy stuff and some crazy pictures with Geoffrey. You should see, it's almost, this video is, again, for people that are interested in Geoffrey, is so interesting because if you look in the background, you can see like actual Muppets, like in the background of this guy's house.
That's pretty
And
cool.
then there's like a video of Geoffrey with like disco balls and stuff. It's absolutely insane.
You should put this on our YouTube page.
So it's already on YouTube actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And the guy that made it, I didn't even realize if I needed this, from J&W's Wicked Puppet Factory. So that was awesome. So there is how Geoffrey was made.
Can we put some sinister music to it?
I guess we could. I didn't listen to the music, but you should see it. It's a pretty interesting process of Geoffrey being made. He almost looked, before I got him to like kind of change it up a little bit, you should see his pre-look was going to be very like Elvin-like. This guy is incredible though. So if you're interested in Geoffrey, I'm gonna send the link to Tom. He can include it. He can include it in the show notes for all those Geoffrey interested people. And then I will continue to look for his backstory.
I'm sure there's some way I can put it on our YouTube page too, like link to it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know how YouTube works, but I'm sure.
I think you can. There's a option for like
think.
liked videos or something.
Okay.
Or you can make like a playlist.
I'm going to share it in the group as well.
There you go. That'll.
I might actually do that right now.
All right, look at that. So Dan wants to know if there's a way. Do we have anything else about the dinner reservations?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Well,
I don't care about calling in. So there's my
because you like to call, right? So
exactly.
You like to have a magical day at the end of your phone call. So Dan also asked, is there a way to tell how sold through Riviera is? And Dan, the answer to that question is yes, there actually is. So this is actually we don't know how many are sold, right? So but what we can see is how many points have been declared. Now, though not all those points have been sold necessarily, but that means the points are available to be sold. And so the last update on this, and they actually will basically they declare these and they send them to the Orange County comptroller when they do this. But the last time they declared points at Riviera, it was March 16th. So that was, just a couple months ago. And at that point, they were at about 36.3% of the resort, of the DVC points had been declared. So about 36% of the resort, those points are available to be sold, if they haven't been sold already. They'll keep declaring them essentially. This is from dvcnews.com, by the way. By the end of May 2020, Disney had sold about 1.4 million points. So, and then with that declaration, there are about 1 million declared but unsold points at Riviera. So there's your answer. So there's about 2.4 million points out there and 1 million are not sold right now. Look at that. We learned something today.
I actually didn't expect that to be as specific as it would be.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm
very specific.
Well, yeah, I forgot about the fact that, that when they declare it, it is, publicly recorded. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I do also want to talk. So I've seen some articles. I don't know if you guys have seen these, and I've seen a couple posts on Facebook about this. About Disney is apparently pushing some people out of the value resorts and upgrading them to stay in Riviera, complimentary move to Riviera, for whatever reason. We don't really know the reason behind it. Maybe they're just trying to make, either they're trying to not open Pop Century, or they're trying to lessen the amount of people there. But and people were mad about this. I saw a lot of people mad about it. And I think a lot of people don't understand the way that DVC works as far as inventory goes. So as far as our points go, 36.3% of the resort being declared, we can only book 36.3% of the resorts with DVC points, because that's all the points that are out there. The rest of the rooms at Riviera are for cash. That's the way that DVC works, right? So 36% of the rooms can be used for points, and then the rest of it is available for cash. So Disney can use those rooms however they want. If they want to give them to people, if they want to upgrade them to people, then they can. That's how it is. But it's not hurting members in any way, right? It's not in any way hurting members. It's not taking rooms away from members. It has nothing to do with the borrowing, limitations they put into place. It's completely and totally separate from our points, and completely and totally separate from DVC. So I just wanted to clear that up. I saw that a lot. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but
yeah. And I guess to reiterate that is, when people look in the website and they're looking to book a room and they see that there's no availability, you can't equate that lack of availability with the fact that, somebody got their room upgraded from Pop Century to Riviera, because like you said, that's not the same inventory of rooms. It's not that somebody taking that room has stolen points from somebody else.
Exactly. And by the way, it's not, exactly 36. I know I said 36%. That's 36% of the resort of the points, right? So it's not like exactly like 36% of the rooms or whatever, but there are specific vacation homes that are declared. So, at this point, 9 of the 24 Tower Studios, so less than half of the Tower Studios are available for point usage, and 13 of the 38 dedicated studios, 11 of the 29 one bedrooms, so not all of those, a small amount of those rooms at this point are available for DVC members to book on points. And by the way, people paying cash for those rooms actually helps DVC members a little bit, not a lot. So, because that cash actually goes kind of back into I don't want to say back into the funds. I'm trying to think of an easy way to say this, but essentially we can take, I think it's 2% of that goes back into the general funds for DVC. So
it
now
helps
Disney
pay
takes
maintenance and stuff, right?
Yeah, for maintenance, exactly. It's for maintenance and stuff. Yeah, and so it's not a bad thing necessarily for people to be on cash. Now, given Disney obviously makes a lot more money on that cash, and they can take over 2%, they take the rest of it. So, so they're taking that cash off of that. But again, this is not affecting DVC members. It's a separate inventory. It's not taking your points away from you. It's not taking availability away from you. A lot of people don't seem to understand that and are getting all outraged about it. And I understand if you don't know the information, but that's something that's come up. So now we know 36%, and there's about 1 million not sold. Now this is from a couple months ago, as I said. So they haven't done any sales really. So, although actually this article was posted on the just about 2 weeks ago. So this is pretty up to date info. But if you're a DVC member or a prospective DVC member and you haven't gone to DVC News, that is a great website to check out.
Yes.
Detailed stuff. Yeah. They write really good. They know DVC inside and out, and they will tell you stuff that you had no idea existed within DVC. So anyway,
okay.
What else we got here?
So Brandon asks, Disney Plus faves.
That's a waitlist episode. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say that can be a very deep question.
Yeah. I'll give my top couple. I'll just give a couple. First of all, in my house, we're constantly watching the Mickey Mouse shorts. Constantly. My daughter's obsessed with them. Every time we get into the living room, she goes, Mickey, 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 like literally just nonstop. So that plays a lot. And I think I've watched those Mickey Mouse shorts all the way through maybe 15 times. But my personal favorites, I was actually watching some of the Marvel movies last night, which was cool. And I will say that I think my favorite is Imagineering Story. I've said that before on this show. And I also, every Friday, I like to go and check out the shorts that they put out there of different cast members and their jobs. I think those are very cool. They've had some Imagineers on there. They've had like maintenance people and, somebody that's one of the people in the ranch that takes care of the horses. They're really interesting, and they put a new little 5-minute short out every week. So I check those out. The One Day at Disney shorts, I like those a lot.
Oh, okay. In our house, we keep going back to The World According to Jeff Goldblum for some reason. Even though there's
I like that show.
Yeah, I mean, like there's not a ton of episodes, but it's a lot of fun to watch, and it did kind of, not Disney, but it segued into us watching Jurassic Park again in the last couple of days. So.
Because of the Jeff Goldblum connection?
Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, we should watch Jurassic Park, right?
Funny.
And so for the Disney shorts, so I guess what is your favorite, and why is it Potato Land?
I do love Potato Land. Potato Land's a really good one. Yeah. Gosh, what is my favorite one? Oh man, there's some really good ones in there. I really like the shorts. I know a lot of people don't like them. I find them to be funny, and there's a lot of really great references. There's actually one where Mickey's taking out the garbage for his neighbor. I really love that one. I don't know why. It's just I think it's a really funny one. There's a lot of funny references in there. There's an Oswald reference in there. Mm-hmm. There's some good ones in that episode. I think that's a funny one. No, there's some really, really fun ones. Oh gosh, you put me on the spot now, and now I can't think of it. But Potato Land is definitely up there for sure.
Yeah, I think Potato Land's our favorite right now, has been for a while. But
yeah, Potato Land's definitely a good one. The other thing too, next month I'm excited. There's a new Muppet series debuting next month, so I'm excited about that. Yeah,
I almost forgot about that. We'll have to check that out.
They're calling it an unscripted Muppet series. I don't know what that means. Like, are they like talking to people on the? I don't know what this show's about. I just know there's a Muppet series and they're calling it unscripted. Yeah, I don't know. It looks kind of cool. I haven't seen. I don't know if there's a trailer out for it. But.
Maybe it's like those segments on Sesame Street where they talk with the kids, but maybe like with adults.
But with like adults, I was excited for that talk show they were going to do. Remember there was like that the Jim Henson Studios was producing like a talk show. I wonder whatever happened with that.
Space Monster talk show.
Yeah. I wonder what happened with that. I'm excited for that. Oh, I'm also excited for Hamilton. That's a couple weeks from now. I tried to get tickets for Hamilton when it came to Charlotte like 3 or 4 times, or 2 or 3 times, and never was able to get tickets. So now I can just watch it on my TV. So that'll be great.
Okay, I'm going to say something that's probably going to offend and upset a lot of people. I don't get the hype around Hamilton, so
I'm not going to watch Hamilton either.
I'm not don't get me wrong. I appreciate live theater and all that, but I have no interest in watching Hamilton, and I think
my wife will end up watching it. I think she'll end up watching, but I have no interest in it.
I just want to see what all the hype is about. So I'm going to watch it just to, and I know my wife's listened to the soundtrack a bunch too, and I like a lot of the soundtrack. So I just, I'm going to check it out. I'm not a big theater person, but, a lot of people are into it.
So for me, Secret Society of Second Born Royals is coming, I think, in July. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm not going to even go into what I already like, but that's something I'm looking forward to on Disney Plus. And again, I'll pull a Derek and pull a shameless plug here that, we do have an interview with one of the stars on BSC Kids. Actually, will be out by the time this episode airs, if anyone cares to look.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. I had not heard of that. So that's
it's like a teeny sort of thing, Teenage Royal Rebels, right? So I don't know. Your daughter's probably too young. You're probably too old. So,
although I do have to, since my daughter was out at like, Little Gym, which is, little gymnastics thing this morning. They had this first time back, since all this happened. And when she came back, I wasn't allowed to go with, only my wife could go. And so I was watching Gravity Falls. It was just on Disney XD. And when we walked in, and she hadn't seen it before, and she was like enamored with it. So now I think my daughter's into Gravity Falls. So
that's such a tough call though, because you know what?
She'll watch it. Weird.
Yeah, she'll watch it and then not get it.
Oh, yeah.
Almost like you have to, the first time you watch that, you have to have the capability to understand. Otherwise, I feel like it could be ruined a little bit.
Maybe. I don't know. She just likes cartoons, and she just was interested. I was just surprised,
I would say
she was interested, you know?
Save it for when she gets older. I think my daughter watched it at 9. And that was good. That was a good timing because she understood most of it, really enjoyed it.
All right. I'll have to, you know, maybe hold it back from her then. So, let's go. Bobby's asking us, should you buy a bigger contract to start or a smaller one?
I would personally start with a smaller one.
I guess what do you define as smaller, right? So, because to some people, I guess smaller would be like a 50-point contract, right? But then to others, it would be like 100 points.
Okay, so all right, I guess the way that it was framed or the way that we approached it was, we knew that we wanted to travel like one week a year, which I know for a lot of people, like they go, what do you mean you only go to Disney 1 week a year? And it's like, well, that's all we can afford, because, you know, coming from Canada and all that. So, that worked out to a 100-point contract to start with. So, I guess that would be my upper limit, is I would say, you know, I think 100 points is still pretty small as far as DVC contracts go. I wouldn't go any higher than that. And yeah, you know, even 50, 75 points, I would start in there. I wouldn't buy a massive contract, because the problem with that is that you, like, unless you're committed to, you're going to be using up those points every year, or I guess renting them out. But then even at that, you know, if you get into a situation where you do need to, downsize in points, or you want to downsize in points, you can't do that. You have to sell off the entire contract and then, you know, go buy other contracts. The nice thing about if you buy smaller contracts and then add on with bigger contracts is that you can do the same thing going the other way, is that you can remove those individual contracts instead of, you know, having to try and sell a much larger contract. So that's my take on it.
No, I agree with that. We started with 100 points and then, you know, moved on from there. And I think it's good to start, if you're going to buy direct, especially, to at least start with the minimum Disney requires you to buy, you know, to get all the benefits and all that. So, you know, we at this point now can just buy resale from now on and still have all the direct benefits because we bought our first contract direct. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do it that way. If you don't care about all the benefits, then, you know, the extra stuff, then don't do that. Just buy resale and save, you know, a whole bunch of money. But yeah, I agree with you, Trevor. It makes a lot of sense to buy smaller contracts. You know, I don't think it makes sense to start with like 500, you know, points contract and then regret that later on down the line. I think it's good to see, you know, and also to make sure it works for your family. You know, you got to make sure the DVC is what you want it to be, because it all seems good on paper, but then in actual practice, you need to make sure that it's something that's going to work for you. So yeah, I think you start with you know, what you can afford too. Also, you start with what you can afford.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And also you do need to, like, our conversations when we were looking at the amount of points, it wasn't well, this year I'm going to go once. It was, what is our pattern over, you know, the next 5 years? Like you do have to kind of look at, if you know that you're going to go every other year or something like that, that actually shrinks the amount of points that you need as well, because you can bank points into the next year. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to consider before you buy a contract. But yeah, definitely the first thing is I would never tell somebody who doesn't know about DVC to, like, yeah, grab 200 points and go. Like, that's not a good idea.
Well, that's what some people do, right? So they go and they get enamored by the free ice cream and the free fast passes, and they're like, "Ooh, you know, we can do this. Let's buy this." And then without really knowing everything about it, and then it becomes a regretful purchase if you don't, you know, do your research ahead of time. So
exactly.
I did see somebody ask the question in one of the DVC groups, and it was somebody that was thinking about becoming a member. With everything going on right now, you know, and all the restrictions, does that make you reconsider becoming a DVC member? And you know, my thought about that question is, you don't buy DVC for the next year. You buy it for the next 40 to 50 years, right? These are temporary things, right? So these are temporary restrictions. And it feels like it's going to be forever before things get back to normal, but you buy this for the future, right? You buy it. It's a long-term investment. It's not for next year. It's for the next 40 years. And so that's, I feel like how you got to look at it. If you're looking at it in the short term, it's definitely doesn't make sense to do that. But if you're looking at it in the long term, then it makes a lot more sense when you're investing for a long time in DVC. And that's kind of what I felt about it when I saw that kind of comment.
Yeah.
So, all right. We should probably do our ad. I really had a higher. I really thought we were going to cover a lot more topics before we got to halfway through the show, but I don't know why this shouldn't surprise me. So
this week it is DVC resale market. So DVC resale market is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 11 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 2 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking about selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% listings sell within 30 days and nearly 3,000 contracts sold in 2019 alone. You can go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS, which is 382-7767, and please let them know that Welcome Home sent you. Again, that's dvcresalemarket.com or 1-844-DVC-PROS.
Yeah, and they're great to work with. Like I said, I've bought 2 contracts now from them. Trevor's bought a contract from them. Damon's considering buying a resale contract, maybe. We're not sure what Damon's going to do. He thinking about direct, thinking about resale. We got to get Derek and Marissa back on to convince Damon to buy a resale contract.
Mm-hmm.
Did we lose Damon? I bet he's yelling.
He's hard researching right now.
Yeah, I'm actually playing a game of Clash Royale while you guys are talking.
Wow, jeez. All right. Well, let's talk about reflections. The Disney resort / I don't know, rehab facility / reflections. Disney resort. Possibly canceled.
So again, first of all, this is a rumor at the moment. So there's nothing confirmed, and I guess that's that makes it hard saying, this is DVC news, but I wouldn't say. I know they're saying canceled. I can't imagine that. It's probably just on hold or delayed more than anything. And reading the article, it's a lot of people. They're seeing. They're talking about, Project 89 is canceled and crews are being removed and all this. I mean, this is kind of par for the course right now with things is that, like lots of projects are just being stopped at the moment. And I mean, I wouldn't say just because the project is being stopped, that means that it's never going to happen.
Well, this drives me nuts about like the Disney community in general. It's like somebody posted this on a message board, so it's true. Like, it drives me crazy. Now, listen, I understand the people that posted this are known as to be Disney insiders. Fine. Okay, I get that. But until Disney says anything, I don't take anything as fact. That's just how it's got to be, right? Because it, like you said, I don't think it's canceled. I think it's maybe on hold. Disney has either put on hold or canceled more than $1 billion of projects that they were working on, whether it's refurbishments or, whatever they're doing, new rides, new areas, new hotels. They put it on hold for now because, they've been losing billions of dollars and it makes sense that they would do that. They need to do that. So I don't think it's canceled. I think it's probably on pause, like you said. And, they cleared this area out. They're going to want more DVC rooms at some point. But I also think they're thinking of, kind of a wait and see, right? They haven't sold any rooms essentially, or any, not rooms, any points at any contracts for Riviera because of everything being shut down, essentially, right? So who knows what the demand in the future is going to be for DVC? Maybe the Riviera sales crater, and they don't want to invest in another DVC resort. Now, let's also note though too that this was a mixed use resort, right? So this was going to be part DVC, part regular hotel, right? So it wasn't all DVC. This was part regular hotel, and who knows though? If Disney doesn't feel like they're going to have the demand and like the travel is going to be like it was for a couple years, then why wouldn't you put it on pause, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you're absolutely right. Is if you think about it, anybody who is in charge of a company, they're looking at sales and business right now, and in the case of Riviera, nothing's moving. So why would we build a whole brand new resort when the existing resort that we just finished is not selling? And again, we know it's due to outside circumstances, but it just makes sense. Like, I guess I knew that I knew Reflections was going to be a long ways out anyway. And it just seems that this pandemic is just like, it's probably going to be another year or two past what we thought it was going to be before it actually opens, which Absolutely. Means at this point, they don't need people actively working on a site where they're not actually going to do anything with it for at least the next year.
Exactly. And to look at it too, I don't think that they're going to cancel the California project. I think that that's still going to go forward because there's a huge pent up demand for that, right? So regardless of travel, it's a whole different situation at Disneyland. They need the space, right? They absolutely need it. Whereas Disney World doesn't really need it, right?
Yeah. And even at that, like the location of that particular resort is, like you said, it's in that same vicinity as Wilderness Lodge, which you've already got a lot of the other, you've got Bay Lake Tower, Bay Lake's the Contemporary, you've got the Polynesian, you've got the Grand Floridian, all in that area already. So the extra hotel or Reflections is meant to, it's meant to help with supplementing the demand that's already in that area. But if nobody's going there right now, there's no extra demand. Like you said, in California, there's only one DVC resort there, and it's very limited space. So, you're right. I feel that the California stuff, they're still going to keep pushing through on that regardless, because it's a totally different situation.
Agreed. Well, I think the real reason why they decided to cancel this or pause it is because they listened to our show and they realized that the actual resort they should be building on that site is Haunted River Country.
Of course. So, they need time to redo the branding. Yep. They need to do promotional stuff. I can't wait to see the sketches.
Yeah, they need to get Damon on board as a consultant to design it for them.
It would be an interesting take.
We need a nice oil painting of Geoffrey in the lobby now.
Haunted River Country,
a stretched painting.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I still think that
it has the eyes that follow you.
if you're not going to do Haunted River Country, it should be a Haunted Mansion theme at least then.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool if they just made it look like the Haunted Mansion and that's all you could see from the front was the Haunted Mansion like you do in the park. And then when you walk in, then, it branches out to all the different rooms and, all the different areas. That'd be really cool. But, they're not into theming. It would also be kind of ruin it a little bit. It's like, why are there two Haunted Mansions at Disney? That would make things a little weird. But
yeah, that there would have to be a whole lot of explaining around that one.
Yeah, there would for sure. I think we talked about that before too. Like some of these super themed resorts, it'd be like, some people would complain about things that were designed to purposely be there, right? So,
yeah.
So other DVC news, and this is only a little bit DVC news because there's not a ton of, unless there's anything else you wanted to mention about Reflections.
Nope.
I'll wait to hear from Disney or not hear from Disney at all because it tends to be with these kinds of things when Disney cancels something like this, they just don't say anything. Remember there was a theater they were going to, remember at D23 a couple of years ago, they announced that they were going to build a theater right next to Main Street. They canceled that so long ago and just didn't say anything. So,
anyway. Yeah. And I guess, the difference is Reflections has been, they kind of did the initial promo stuff for it, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did, and DVC is a little bit different too, right? So,
and I'm also thinking back because even was it? I can't remember if it was Pop Century or Art of Animation where it was a similar situation where they started building it and then something it
was Art of Animation,
yeah. Like they started building it and then there was a larger or something happened and they had to stop. And I
believe it was around like 9/11 when that happened, and then tourism just kind of crashed, and then they completely just stopped building it. They just let it sit there for years.
Exactly, and yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Is they're just going to stop and they'll wait until things kind of come back up before they continue on with it.
Yeah. I think that's the case here, and at that point, I think the buildings had already been put up, and they just stopped like in the middle of it.
Yeah, so this is better because then you don't have like a weird concrete shell sitting there that you don't know what it is.
Well, that was the other thing too. I thought was funny is that people were speculating because they put down grass seed, and I'm like, really? Because they put down some grass? Like you're gonna say that's canceled? Like that's just how you stop erosion. There could be a lot of reasons why they did that. It's funny to me the way that people read into some stuff. But I mean, some of it could be true. I don't know. There's no way to know, and I don't love when people quote message boards as fact. It just feels very feels very shady to me. Mm-hmm. So anyway,
hold on. I'm just gonna go post something on a message board.
Yeah, you're gonna go. Post a secret thing about it on a message board.
Yeah.
So DVC's announced that not DVC, but Disney has kind of announced that Jambo House is going to be closed indefinitely. And Jambo's got a floor of DVC of rooms, but most of the resort is for general public. But Kidani's still open, and still going to be opening. Wait, when was it going to be opening? Is that now? Is that this week?
I thought it was the 2 days.
22nd?
The 22nd.
Yeah, it's Monday. Yeah. So when you hear this, the DVC resorts will be back open, right?
Yeah.
So assuming you listen to us the first day it comes out, which we hope you do. But basically they're just saying during the initial phase that it's not going to be open. Now I saw a lot of people speculating about this one too, because people again love to say that rumors are true things. And, there was speculation that the NBA was going to stay at Jambo. There's speculation that the MLS was going to stay at Jambo, which could have been true. I don't know. It's rumor, nobody ever confirmed that. But neither one of those are staying there. They've already ruled those out. So it just seems like they're keeping it closed because it's a big resort and there's just not enough reservations. It's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, again, why would you, so from a DVC standpoint, if we only have rooms on one floor of that building, how can they justify having the entire building open for DVC members? That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So it costs a ton of money to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
So unless it's open for the general public, which again, they've got the two houses there and they're, again, I'm sure Disney, not just DVC, but Disney has looked at this and said, we don't need Jambo House open for the amount of people that we're planning to have come through here. And people always want to believe that there is some other sinister reason or that, the NBA threw a bunch of money at them to get, VIP access or something. No, come on.
They want to steal our DVC rooms from us. That NBA does. It's kind of what I've seen posted on some of the groups.
and again, this is such an incidental thing. And I guess further to that, at least from my standpoint, it's are you going to be there? Is this really interrupting anything? Because, most people aren't traveling anyway. It's not, I don't think that for the limited amount of spaces that Disney has opened up, that they're going to hit capacity or it's going to, in the next couple of months or even 6 months here, it's Disney is not going to be having their hotels hitting capacity for the amount that they've opened up. So again, why do you need Jambo House open? Is it just...
If you think, well, and they even said in the message, and this message is on DVC, on the DVC member site right now. It actually says in there, over time, as the volume of reservations increase, inventory will be expanded to include Jambo House. So they're telling you right there in that message, there's just not enough reservations to justify opening it. And there's room in Kidani, so they'll just move everybody to Kidani.
Yep.
So to your point, there's no foreign travelers coming, right? Because they can't. But even if you're coming from like New York, New Jersey, I think also Pennsylvania, they're doing a mandatory 2-week quarantine if you come into the state of Florida still. So everybody from those states can't even really come either. So, I mean, it's a small, my parents just moved to Florida and they have to do a 2-week quarantine because they moved from New Jersey. So it's, there's not going to be big crowds. There's obviously not that much of a demand. And I think that's why they're moving people out of Pop Century too, is because they're probably going to keep Pop Century shut down and they're going to move those small amount of people that are in Pop right now to something that they can open, because Pop is another big resort,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why have it open? Go ahead, Damon.
I was going to say, the interesting part of that discussion was your parents moved to Florida. What does that mean for you?
They did. Oh, trust me, it's awesome for me because now they're an hour and a half outside Orlando, so I can just stay with them on my drive there. We can, break up our trip and not have to pay for a hotel, and maybe I'll even get them to watch the dog too, so I don't have to pay for boarding anymore. That's so yeah, it's great for me.
It's all
I have not been down yet though, so
all around beneficial to them and to you.
Exactly. And it's not like they're far. They're pretty close to Orlando. So it's a net positive for me as far as I'm concerned.
Awesome. So one thing of note, by the way, so on the whole travel thing, I did find out that, so the border closure for Canada, US and specifically applies only to land crossings.
So you can travel by air?
We can, but then the same thing still applies about, 2-week quarantine and all that. So it still isn't really feasible to travel, but it's not the border closure that's really stopping us at this point.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Well, you still have a couple months too. So hopefully by the time, we get to when your trip is, assuming you don't cancel it, then, they won't have that restriction in place anymore.
Well, I think honestly, the further we go along here, I think we're most likely going to cancel because it's things aren't opening fast enough. I don't think it makes sense for us to go down there. And I don't even know how the 2-week quarantines thing is going to work. Like,
are they giving people? So what's the whole point situation? Like, how do you get your points back? I know that we would lose points, but if we were to cancel let's say our November trip, like when do we have to cancel by to get the rest of our points back?
Well, so they're not usually if you cancel within 30 days, they put it into a holding account and they have to be used. But if you cancel before then, it just goes back into the use year that they came from. So, for me, me personally, my points, I'm just going to bank for next year. But Damon, I think you're in a situation where you can't bank your points, right?
Yeah, I have some, I think I lose 40 points, to be honest with you, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, so
but
for
Katie's going to send me a sign, so I don't care. I mean, a metal plaque, so I don't care.
So you're good.
Yeah, I think.
But Trevor, yours are from this use year, so you'll be able to bank yours, right?
Most of them are. I actually did have some from the previous use year, so I think I'm kind of in the same boat where canceling means I'll lose like 30 points or something like that.
Well, weren't they doing something with those 2018 or the 2019 points or whatever? I mean, you should be able to bank them again, right?
No, I don't think so. I think that if you're already, like, if they're open, then no.
Yeah.
If they're not open, it's a different story.
It was only for points between like March and
certain use years.
Yeah. There was a window, but again, I'm not too concerned about it because, canceling, I'll have enough points for next year anyway. So
I want to say that I don't care, but then people are going to write nasty things about me on Apple iTunes.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah. I think I told you guys, I think I have enough for a Grand Villa next year. I think I might do like a baller, like Grand Villa trip next year.
Do it.
I'm doing Disneyland next year. So
there you go.
That's my big trip. I'm going to have a blowout though. The way I realized is like, I'm going to have a blowout trip because all the money I didn't have to spend to go over Thanksgiving this year, I'm just going to put towards like a Disneyland blowout trip. Like I'm really just going to do it up.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
That's the way to do it.
Go have dinner at Carthay Circle and
I like fancy dinner. Like I'm a foodie, but it's funny. Like fancy dinners. Nah. I just want to try a lot of stuff.
That's why Food and Wine is perfect for you because you can try a whole bunch of different things, right?
Yes. I mean, that's how I kind of enjoy it.
They do a similar thing to Food and Wine in California Adventure.
But I'm going to be there over the summer. I don't know if...
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we kind of got off on a tangent there.
No. It's a good tangent. It's a good tangent.
Yeah.
So the other thing I have on here, and this is something that I thought was pretty cool. I don't know if you guys saw this, but that Disney's testing a new contactless security and bag check system, and it's like, it looks like the thing that when you walk out of like Target, like it's got like the anti-theft thing. It looks exactly the same as that, but apparently it's able to like scan you as you're walking through and make sure you don't have any like weapons or anything on you.
But people are already complaining about it, right?
I mean, what's there to complain about, though?
They think that it's going to give them some sort of disease or something.
I mean, I haven't seen anybody complaining about it, but I thought...
Oh, I've seen a lot of people complaining about that. Oh,
really?
It's going to give them cancer. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. Yeah.
What?
People don't understand how radio frequencies work.
No.
Like Bluetooth and wireless. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
This uses. What's that? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
I think this is great. Listen, anytime you can get those lines going faster, how is that? That's an upside all the way.
Yeah.
100%. And I've never liked I've seen a lot of people talk about how they should have like a bag scanner, like they have a TSA, and I think Universal does this to get rid of the guys in the front, going through your bags.
They do have bag scanners at Universal, yeah.
They do, but I don't know. For me, I've never really liked that because I don't like going through TSA, and that kind of ruins the magic, so to speak, for me walking through. If I had to put my bag through a scanner like that, I would much rather.
The magic?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. There's a whole thing when you walk into a Disney park that is like an entrance experience, let's say.
I don't feel that way at all. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just I have that doesn't now. It's more of when I walk into the actual park, not at the entrance.
That's after security.
Exactly.
I don't think the security process is magical. I'm just saying that I don't like I don't want it to feel like the airport when I'm walking into Disney. I just don't. So that's how I feel about it. But I get what you're saying. But I just feel like that would just be an eyesore.
10 times faster than a traditional checkpoint. Man, that's a big number. So even if it's 5 times faster than what we see, gosh, that's nice.
Yeah, this says 60 people per minute. And if there's a video actually out there of it, you can look, where it's just people just walking through. You don't have to stop at all. You just walk right through, and apparently can look, to make sure there's nothing in your bags and nothing in your backpacks and all that stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like just doing the bag check at the TCC, going over to Magic Kingdom like that. Even the amount of time we have to stop there, like, in the morning, it's super annoying having to wait. Like the lineup is always crazy because it's the TTC, right? So yeah, if they can make that 10 times faster, I am all for that.
Well, and they're doing a test right now, so this is being tested at Disney Springs. So we don't know if this is going to be rolled out wide. Obviously, if the test goes well, I think that they're going to want to do this because obviously the other benefit of this is that it's no touch, right? So nobody's got to touch any of your stuff.
Yeah,
which is especially important at the moment. So
well, yeah, even more so is I carry a very small bag, and frankly, I don't want the guy going through the bag either. And I know they're wearing gloves, but then, further to that is they're wearing gloves, and that's great. But how many other people's bags have they rifled through before they touch mine?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. So I think this is interesting. If it works well, I hope that they launch it everywhere, because I think this is a great way to do things, especially if you just walk through. I mean, it's awesome. So, all right, let's talk MagicBands. We teased this earlier.
We're ready.
So Disney is planning on, they've announced that they are planning on discontinuing complimentary MagicBands for Disney World Resort guests. Now, this doesn't mean MagicBands are going away completely, okay? It just means they're not going to give them to you for free anymore. Well, yet, maybe.
maybe yet.
Well, hold on. I don't think they're going to get rid of them completely, because I think they're going to need an alternative to smartphones, which is, so what they're going to move to is smartphones, right? Which makes sense. You got the same technology in your phone as you do in the Magic Band.
It doesn't make sense. But go ahead.
No, but hold on. I'm just saying it makes sense because a lot of people I've seen comment about, why do I need this Magic Band when I can just use my phone? Like, I get it.
Where do you see these people commenting?
Oh, I've seen people say this. There's a lot of people that don't like Magic Bands. That don't want to wear something on their wrist.
Blasphemy.
Yeah. Okay. I feel sorry for those people.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, I'm on your side. I love MagicBands, and I don't think they'll ever get rid of them, though, because I do think it's an additional revenue source for them. They sell a ton of those special MagicBands and all the accessories for the MagicBands. Like, I don't think they'll get rid of them completely.
What happens with young kids, then, that don't have phones?
Well, that's another reason why partly why I think they're not going to get rid of them either, because those kids are going to need something else.
You still got to pay for them?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, see, dude, just raise my ticket prices, please. Just raise the hotel rates. Like, I don't understand. So what is there, right, to make more money? Okay, we'll take my money somewhere else. That's fine. Or is it because they truly just want to get rid of them? And that's where I'm having this tough time with this thought process. It almost sounds like they want to get rid of them, because otherwise, why?
I think they want to push. Well, let's look at it this way. They're the only Walt Disney World's the only one that has MagicBands. Every other Disney park does not have
awesome,
MagicBands.
Though.
I don't disagree with you, but I think, part of it is they do want to. There's a hassle associated with MagicBands for some people, right? Some people don't want to wear them. There are people that take those pucks out and they put them on like lanyards, or they put them on like attach them to their Apple Watch. There's a whole bunch of different.
So people already have options.
They do. You're right. They do. I don't think this is necessarily about saving money. I think they're just trying to push people more towards using the app and using your phone, as they do at every other park in the world for Disney.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I want to keep my MagicBands. I'm going to
have to pay for my daughter. Well, my daughter will probably have a phone by the next time we go. But in general, I have to pay for someone to have a MagicBand if they don't have a phone, pretty much.
Well, we don't know if every person's going to need to have a phone or not, though, right? So I think they're going to do it.
What if you split up? And then how am I getting my pictures?
What do you mean?
My pictures on rides. If I don't have the phone, that's going to be, that's the problem.
I would assume that there's going to be a solution for that. It's probably going to be in the form of like a QR code of some sort that needs to be scanned. And
it's scanned where? You're walking. Okay, so you're walking on Rock and Roller Coaster. Hey, Damon, here's the poster for you. How are they doing that now? Unless we're going, listen, can we go Born Identity? Are we going full on face recognition for everyone in the park?
That'd be interesting.
Trevor, is that what we're leading to at some point? Because, again, my daughter, who's going to be 10 the next time we go, let's say her brother takes her on a ride. So that means that the master phone, let's say he has it on his phone, but it doesn't even matter. If I take her on a ride, how do they know she's there?
Yeah, this is from the technical standpoint, that they kind of did paint themselves into a corner with the extended magic stuff, because even if you have the phone, because there's two different antennas. There's a short range RFID and a long range RFID inside of the MagicBands. Your phone doesn't necessarily, like, not everybody's phone has a long range antenna.
The long range
in it,
yeah.
But
so even if you have a phone, those things aren't necessarily going to work. So there is kind of a need for the MagicBand because of how they design those things. So they either have to redesign those pictures or go back to, just, scanning your phone at the end of the ride. But then again there's some, like, it also takes away, like, from things like, seeing your name pop up on Small World, or like a lot of those things that Disney's been trying to implement. So them getting rid of MagicBands, I need to see what the replacement is, or what their intent is to replace it with. Because there's a lot of things that don't work.
Where are the kids' tickets? Then they're on somebody else's phone then too.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that, but I guess, if you don't have a MagicBand, like I went with friends last year and they didn't get MagicBands and they just had park tickets. But
are they going to give back park tickets again? I don't think that's their plan. So if you have two groups, let's say, right? And it was a perfect example. We travel with people, and let's just say I was like, you guys are going to the fireworks. Nah, I'm not going, right? Because that seems very, Damon-like thing to do. And my wife, for whatever reason, decides she's not going. So I said, all right, well, just, take our kids with you. Well, you know what I mean? Like, how are my kids getting into the park?
Well, it actually does say in here too, you can either use the app or the key to the world card during your visit. So anytime you buy tickets, you get that plastic card that also has RFID in it, because you'll see a lot of people that don't stay at the resorts that just don't have Magic Bands, right? They just have the plastic cards that are their tickets. So I'm assuming that's the way they're going to go with it.
Yeah, this sounds like, again, they're not forcing it, obviously. Like they can't. There's no way they can force everybody to phones, but I think they're making it more of an option because of the fact that, one, it is a cost savings for them, because there's plenty of people that will just come with their phones and never get a ticket or never get a Magic Band. So that's a zero cost thing to Disney. So I think that's where they're trying to go.
Isn't a zero cost though.
Well, it's zero cost from a manufacturing standpoint, because they don't have to make. Sure,
there's still soft costs involved though, right? You start pushing everyone over to something like that, a phone thing. It's like when you're on the cruise, right? And you have you guys haven't been, you have the cruise chat. There's somebody that's answering cruise chat technical questions all the time. There's always a problem. So you're increasing your costs there.
But they already have that rolled into the cost of My Disney Experience. So that, I guess, yeah, they're different.
But they don't with that many people using it, right? So think about it, right?
Correct,
so all the things you do with your Magic Band that, just to say, won't work on your phone, they have to increase that back end soft cost. I just don't know if that outweighs the cost of a Magic Band. I don't know how much, I don't know what sort of Magic Band support that they need to have, and if it's at the same level as the increased costs of My Disney Experience. Because again, right, Magic Band is easy. It just works. I don't have to even answer questions about it. It works.
You just tap it to things.
Yeah, the app is going to bring questions regardless. I don't know. It's an interesting discussion. I don't know if it's necessarily a cost thing, because if it was a cost thing, you would just increase tickets, increase, this, increase that. So I don't know. Unless there's some other sort of overall experience that they have that you're going to be able to do with your phone that's going to be way cooler than Magic Bands.
Well, I think, and this has been speculated, they announced, I think it was the last D23, that Genie app that they're building. And it seems like that this is going to be part of that Genie app that they're going to build, or that are building, I should say. That's gonna really take, I guess, planning to the next level is what they're saying with this new app. So, but I guess the good thing is here that the Magic Bands will continue to work, right? So if you already have a current Magic Band, you can still use it, and some of those long range things will die when the battery dies in it, but you can, use it as long as they support it. You can keep using that Magic Band for however long you want to, right? And they're not saying, hey, you can't use Magic Bands anymore. They're just saying we're not going to give them out for free anymore. So and they're going to start moving stuff towards the app.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, the free Magic Bands were, there's two groups of people. There's those that would buy the premium ones, and those that just wanted the free ones. And it's the free ones, those people are going to be upset because now it's, they're used to having it, and now they're being told, if you want a new one, you got to pay $10 or whatever. Which, I get that's annoying when you're used to, getting something complimentary and all. Like, it's like going to a restaurant, all of a sudden they start charging you for the bread that they used to give you free before the meal, right? Like, it does rub the wrong way, and I get that. But from the technical standpoint, like you said, using the phone, it works, and you still have, like, I know I've got a pile of Magic Bands over here that still work, but going forward, am I going to invest in, I guess this is where it becomes dangerous, is when they take that away, kind of to Damon's point, are people going to actually invest in Magic Bands in the future if they see that the barrier to get them is becoming more and more?
I just think they've built a whole mini, like, I don't want to say fandom, but there's people that collect Magic Bands. There's limited edition ones. There's a market for Magic Bands, and I can't see them just saying we're done with Magic Bands altogether, because it's like the pins at this point, right? They put out collector's editions and special editions, and there's people. Remember how up in arms people were just a couple months ago when they started doing the discount special design ones, and people were getting so mad that they couldn't get the ones that they wanted. Like, so there's obviously obviously a certain thing there, right? That people do really want these Magic Bands, and the ones that do want them and want to collect them and want to use them on a consistent basis will pay for them, right? They will pay for them. They don't care about the complimentary ones. I mean, I don't think I've even gotten complimentary ones in a couple of years now because we have bought other ones.
I've never not used the complimentary ones ever.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying I'm the norm, but I think you're probably more the norm, Damon.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's going to be a different experience, but maybe it's something that they have a bigger plan for that Magic Bands weren't going to be able to do that phones will be able to do. It's just, man, that back end soft cost just seems like it's going to be brutal.
Well, yeah, I think you and I, Damon, are both looking at this from the lens of IT, and we can see all the problems that this is going to implement, and based on Disney's current IT, I guess I hope that they're increasing their staff augmentation.
And it's funny. So maybe there's going to be some, with all the new phones coming out with, augmented reality, maybe there's something coming in that regard that would be interesting as well. That might be part of this. The one thing I will say is that some of the games that they had implemented on the phones, right? It's just, you always kind of forget to take out your phone to do them. Well,
yeah.
Not always, but it's like you're kind of making the phone this portal now. So if you make the phone the portal, then they have your eyes on it. And I guess, right, you can offset your cost, right? If you're making everyone use your phone, all of a sudden you throw some advertising in there, right? Hey, you just came off this ride? All right, cool. We'll go buy your kid a Winnie the Pooh, right? You have a lot more eyes on something. Magic Bands, it's not like you were gaining any, data that you could necessarily use for direct advertising. That's true. That will be interesting as well. Right? All of a sudden your phone pops up, boom, Pokemon Go style sort of catch Winnie the Pooh.
I guess the thing that I dislike about that is that when I go on vacation, it's to not look at my phone.
Yeah, and that's going away, Trevor. I would agree with you. We had the rule of, no phones while we're eating and this and that. Dude, that's just going away. Phones are appendages, unfortunately, these days. And while I agree with you and I try to do the same, that's just not the way the world is going, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to me too, Trevor, from your point of view as a Disneyland person, because I know a lot of like the Disneyland people are like, what is this Magic Band nonsense and why do I have to deal with it? Because I've read this so many times. There are a lot of people that don't like FastPass Plus, that don't like Magic Bands, that don't like that whole thing. They like doing everything on their phone. And I do think it's interesting that Disney World is the only place that does it, and everyone else uses their phones. Like, that's a common thing at every other park. So I almost feel like maybe, I don't want to say we've gotten spoiled by Magic Bands, or like that we've just gotten used to it. So it's like, this is a change, this is a big problem. I think it's probably, if we just had phones from the first place, like all the other places did, maybe we wouldn't be as, obviously it wouldn't be a problem because they wouldn't have the Magic Bands, but maybe it wouldn't be as big of a deal if it was phones the whole time. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. And I guess this goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that, yeah, I think Disney really has painted themselves in a corner with Magic Bands. That it is, Disney World is very highly, I don't want to say reliant on them, but that they're very highly ingrained in the experience. And I guess it's hard to just see what that looks like when you take them out, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would be the person, I would continue using Magic Bands. I use my Magic Band for everything. I don't like to bring a wallet to the park. I pay for everything with my Magic Band. And then, I bring my phone, but it's only for, to know when my FastPass times are and to, take the occasional picture and
modify
and that kind of stuff. Modify stuff. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. And obviously to text people too, if I'm in a group to, if we get lost from each other or whatever. But I don't bring like anything else. I want to do everything through Magic Band if I can, and I miss it when I come home. Like I wish I could live my life with Magic Band. So, which I guess you kind of can. You can pay for things with your phone, which I've been doing a lot lately during the pandemic here, paying with my phone. But because I don't have to touch anything, and that's the future here, right? It's touchless, and Disney's been doing this for a long time with Magic Bands. So, okay. Well, anything else we want to say about Magic Bands before we move on to the last couple things we have today? I know, Damon, you really wanted to talk about the cookie place, so we got to make sure we get to that.
Yeah, I did. I always like talking about cookies.
All right. Well, we'll get to that at the end. I have
you wrote an awful lot about stuff that's like one sentence. This is interesting. We'll see how this.
What do you mean that's like one sentence? Well, okay,
like
we can just
all Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party canceled for 2020. I mean, that's just a statement.
Well, I like to give details, so I mean, we don't have to give all details. I think the more interesting thing is that Food and Wine is still going to be happening. So that was part of the same announcement.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Earlier too.
Well, yeah. So they're making it longer. They're stretching it out. It's going to be the longest it's ever been. In fact, it's starting on July 15th when the park reopens.
And to me, that's just so weird. That is the most touchy-feely food situation that they have at the park.
Yeah, I mean, I think by stretching it out, though, they're hoping that people are just going to, stagger it and not feel like they have to get there during a certain time.
But that's not even it. I mean, Trevor's right? That's probably not the case, but that's not even what I'm getting at. I'm not getting at the number of people. I'm just getting at the setup is...
Oh, sure.
Is very... Like, think about some of the setups at Food and Wine, and you're talking about, look at the line situation because of where the carts are in relation to the rest of the things that are going on at the park. There's not a good way to distance those lines because of where the carts are, per se, if you kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
So how do you accomplish that? You know what I mean? And a lot of those places, the other thing is that you're talking to multiple people, right? So you go up, you pay your money. Then you're talking to the other person that in theory should have your order, but they're always talking to you and asking you which one your order is. And then a third person that's actually giving you your food. It's just, that's going to be logistically interesting.
What if they make a completely mobile order though? What if there's no line? What if it's all mobile order?
That would definitely be a step in the right direction. But I think that then that introduces, how do you get the right order? I mean, I think that definitely helps. It definitely helps, but I think the line situation is probably the worst in terms of where everything is kind of, you know what I'm saying. You guys have been,
I know exactly.
Right?
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And that's where I'm a little bit more like, well, how do you make that happen? There's no real area for lines.
Yeah. I feel like this, like, how they were going to build the, what's it called? The garden area where they were supposed to have all the food and wine type stuff, like the new rental, right? That to me seems like that would be the prime way to do this is, have an area where it's self-contained. And then almost like with the mobile ordering is instead of having individual places, it's more like, they serve up the food and you say, I want these things. And they basically put it all into one tray and then you take your tray and go instead of hitting these individual places.
I mean, that definitely loses the mystique of what it is.
I know, but
I get what you're saying.
But just thinking of, how to limit, because with the current setup is, you've got all these little kiosks everywhere, and thinking about World Showcase and just like, the last time we were there for Food and Wine, like the lineups go so far beyond where they actually have queues.
I mean, Now, they didn't necessarily tell us they're going to have the same amount of food. I think that you could also do it a little bit easier by halving the places.
True. Well, and they could be doing less booths and limited menus too. I mean, that's what we're seeing at a lot of the regular Disney restaurants, right? Is the limited
menus isn't going to stop the amount of people, though.
But it makes it faster, right?
As it is, though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying it makes it faster, right? So you can churn people through a lot faster and get them away from the same area. Because I think
that they might, like I said, I mean, you take it a little bit out of World Showcase, you have area before you get into World Showcase. You have a lot of open area.
Yeah.
Not at the moment with all the construction. It's that whole middle part of Future World is completely shut down. You got to walk all the way around.
So, yeah, this will be interesting.
It is. I mean, I'm sure they're going to do it in a smart way.
Of course.
Go, Trevor. Were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
I'm just curious to see, I'm going to be watching, I guess, vloggers when this opens back up because,
So, Trevor, you said your October trip is done, huh? You're out on that?
We're 95% sure it's done at this point because...
I'm kind of starting to feel the same way for my November trip. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Were you going? You were going in October, and then when again is your next one after that?
So, we were planning to go first week of October, and then probably about the same time next year. So we think we're just going to push everything out to same time next year. So like first week of October.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it'll be like, I guess if we were going to go, it would be during Food and Wine again and all that. It's just, yeah, the way Epcot is set up right now just doesn't, I can't see how you can maintain social distancing and do Food and Wine.
I would agree.
I just tend to, I'm going to be interested to see how it goes. Disney's been so very, very conservative and so careful about what they're doing with reopening these parks. So I feel like they have to have a good plan in place here, but I mean, we'll have to see. I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to do it the right way, but it's going to be hard. There's 20, you're talking 20 booths are going to be there. I don't know how many there usually are. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of how many booths there usually are. I feel like there's usually more than 20, so maybe they did reduce.
I don't know about that. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
That's a lot of booths.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, they're also getting rid of the Eat to the Beat concert series, so they're not packing people into that stage area. So that's part of something that's being modified. And I think some of the stuff is still up from the Flower and Garden Festival. So it seems like they're going to leave some of those, like the topiaries up and some other things from Flower and Garden. So it's almost like you got a weird, cool hybrid of Flower and Garden and Food and Wine, which is kind of cool. But
all right, can we talk about cookies so I can go?
So we can finish up today? Okay.
There's other stuff, but I'm not going to have time to talk about this. Geoffrey's got stuff to do.
We could talk about cookies. That's fine. And I truthfully, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of like a lot of the, like, the rules and the reservation system. I don't know if I really need to get into like all that stuff, but I definitely do want to talk about it. So, but you want to talk about Gideon's Bakery or Bakehouse opening in,
I just the fact there's going to be new cookies there. I'm always looking for something different at Disney Springs in terms of dessert. Like there's always a lot of good places to eat and there are good desserts there, but I'm always kind of looking for something a little different. And I don't like Ghirardelli's. Like it's always packed and I can get Ghirardelli's anywhere. Yeah. So it's Gideon's Bakehouse is opening a new location in Disney Springs later this year. It's an award-winning Orlando bakery, which is good, right? So it's not like it's this bakery that's across the whole country. And they're known for half-pound cookies, I guess. And they were available at the Play Pig. So I guess the Play Pig's kind of stuck at this point, right?
Let's highlight that for a second. Half-pound cookies.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen a picture of these, go and Google this because they look ridiculous.
The only thing with my cookies that I find is I'm a little picky in terms of over chocolating my cookies. And these look a little bit over chocolated in terms like I almost feel like that chocolate is wonderful, but it can be overdone in terms of not actually getting the other flavors when you have chocolate on the outside, especially since it's the first thing that your taste buds will pick up. It can be a little bit overpowering. So looking at those cookies, I don't know. I mean, I'm super excited, but I'm also like, okay, I might need to scrape off some of that chocolate.
I think part of that depends too on who is making the chocolate, because I at least for myself and some of the confectionaries that we have around here, it like, some do the chocolate better than others, and it is more complimentary. So this is something to keep in mind too, is, maybe if they're doing their own chocolate and it's, they're thinking about all of that, maybe they have answered your question. But
yeah, maybe. I mean, I just feel like if I want chocolate, like my chocolate chip cookies, my family just made them, and I also will consider myself the best baker in this house. Too much argument. I didn't say best chef. I just said the best.
You said the best baker. That's right.
And I find that most people go a little heavy in terms of chocolate chips in their chocolate chip cookies because, again, it's a little bit of an overpowering taste. If I want that, I would rather eat better chocolate by itself, not in a cookie. If that makes, that's just me personally. So that was the only thing that I was kind of like, oh, that chocolate chip cookie looks like it's got a lot of chocolate chips on it.
I will say that this cookie is kind of a legend at Polite Pig. So I have not gone to Polite Pig to have it.
No, because
you don't go to.
Why would you go to Polite Pig when you live in the South?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But
I go to Polite Pig for Polite Pig, not to eat their cookies.
Yeah, exactly. You want to go for the barbecue, not for the cookie. But For me, Damon, my big thing with cookies is not the chocolate. I like a soft cookie. I don't like a cookie that you bite into and it crunches. I like
agree.
a real chewy cookie. And this cookie looks like the type that it's probably not a soft cookie. It looks almost like a hard cookie.
I don't agree with that at all.
I could be wrong though. It just looks like
somebody let us know. Somebody that's been to the Play Pig, please let us know. I don't think that it would be, but
or to Gideon's, I guess if
live in Orlando.
You're an Orlando person, definitely.
Yeah.
I was reading some of the other stuff that they have, by the way. They were talking about double ice cakes and stuff like that. I don't know what that means, but I want it. Double frosted cakes, that's what it says. I don't know what that is, but I really need it in my life.
And they're going to have a popular cookie that was only available once a month there all the time.
Which one was that?
The coffee cake cookie.
Ooh, that sounds amazing. Oh.
And I'm seeing, peanut butter. I'm a sucker for anything with peanut butter.
I agree. Me too.
Peanut butter crisp, cookies and cream, pistachio, toffee, dark chocolate.
Well, I like pistachio as well. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like a winner.
This all sounds delicious. You're making me hungry. I haven't eaten lunch yet. I want to eat.
I haven't eaten either, and I have to eat before I go play basketball. So
I just woke up. I might just go eat cookies for breakfast.
There you go.
Cookie Crisp. You'll be all set.
Oh man, do they have Cookie Crisp in Canada?
I don't know. I haven't seen Cookie Crisp up here.
It's basically
not like Cookie Crisp is good or anything.
It's not. It's terrible, but it's tiny cookies. Basically, it's like little tiny cookies.
We do have Tim Hortons cereal. They look like little donuts.
Oh. Okay, I can see that.
I saw Twinkie cereal the other day in the supermarket.
I feel like in Canada there is no other stores except Tim Hortons, though. That's like in my head. That's how I envision Canada.
It's the only chain.
Every single like McDonald's, Sonic's, 7-Eleven, they're all just Tim Hortons in my mind.
There is definitely more Tim Hortons than other franchises, but we do like our Wendy's and A&W and stuff like that. So.
Oh, A&W.
Been a while.
You guys still have A&W?
A&W is
New
good.
Jersey, I think, though.
A&W is good. I will admit, they're one of my preferred ones right now.
That's crazy because A&W was like a big thing in like Jersey up north, but they've mostly all closed. There's very few left. I feel like.
Isn't there still that one in? Oh no, that was a Stewart's over
Stewart's.
But there was an A&W in the Short Hills Mall.
I feel like people don't even know Stewart's outside of like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. The Stewart's is
I've never heard of Stewart's.
They make root beer. They make the best root beer.
Oh really? Okay.
Oh yeah, root beer and cream soda. Ooh, yeah. I used to go. They give you a good frosted mug. Oh, it's the best. But there's not really Stewart's anymore either. So.
Yep.
We have some weird chains down that are like just in the Carolinas too, that are bigger than like McDonald's and such, like Bojangles. What? Bojangles. We have more Bojangles in the area than we have McDonald's. Do you not have them up north by you?
Did you say up north? Like I'm up north?
You're 2 hours north of me.
2 hours north of you?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I'd say 2 hours east of you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think from what I've seen, Damon's more east.
Yeah.
Northeast.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm going to bring up the map now, my friend.
You're not directly east from me.
I like how you two are like competing for like up north and I'm sitting here in Canada.
Yeah, you're it's still winter.
Dude, it's pretty much east. I'm sorry to tell you.
It's not straight east. It can't be straight east.
No, straight east is Fayetteville, but it's not like I'm that far. It's not like I'm as far away from Fayetteville as I am from Charlotte.
No, like Raleigh is northeast from here. That's
Yes, I wouldn't consider that north. You have to.
All right,
finish with the east.
We are off in the woods.
But you know what you have that we don't have over here, which is the best, is that barbecue place that I like, Jim and Nick's.
Oh yeah, we have that down here. So there's only really one that I know of, though. There's like one in South Carolina. I don't know about
it's a Hilton Head.
Yeah, that's a South Carolina chain. So
actually, I don't think it is. I think it's the chain is somewhere else, but I don't think that's where it started.
I do think it's funny though that you feel like every chain in Canada is just a Tim Hortons.
Yeah,
it's just really funny.
That's exactly what I feel like.
I will admit I do drink Tim Hortons tea a lot. I stopped drinking the coffee because it doesn't do anything for my stomach.
We've got some Tim Hortons in the States. Not a ton, but they're here. They exist.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's yeah. Let's get out of that topic because
let's try to wrap this up with some rapid fire stuff here that we don't need to get into huge details in. So Disneyland proposed reopening is July 9th for the resorts. Theme parks July 17th. We don't need to get into huge details about that, but it's looking pretty similar to what Disney World's doing, right?
Yep.
Pretty much the same deal. So, and then reservations. We talked about dining reservations being on the phone. That's starting June. It's starting June 18th, so it already started, and for stays from June 22nd through July 10th. So guests with confirmed reservations can make dining reservations at that time. So, and then the park reservation system, hooray! So I'll just read a couple points on this really quickly. Beginning June 22nd, Disney Resort and other select hotel guests can make reservations. The 26th of June, annual pass holders without a resort stay can start making reservations. And then 28th, existing ticket holders can make reservations. I did see for pass holders, you can only make 3 reservations at a time. So you can only make 3 days at a time. And Disney is actually like compensating people by adding an extra month or like giving some money back to pass holders who are mad about that. And I could understand. So I don't know about you guys. Well, you guys don't have annual passes, but mine just got extended. So, and I saw a couple people in our group talking about that. So mine is now extended until end of September. Not that it matters because I'm not going. So,
I mean, it's nice that they're at least trying to, work with people that had annual passes. So,
yeah. Exactly. So, although, it's going to be hard I think we're going to go visit my mom down on Labor Day in her new place. And it's going to be hard to be an hour and a half drive away from Disney and not want to pop in. But we'll see.
You see, that's the thing. Pop in that's not a thing.
Well, I mean, when I say pop in, I mean, I can make a reservation and, head on down. But,
it's very, again, these are all things that are working against, like, even our October trip is, it's getting more and more complicated, and rightfully so. I understand why they have to make it more complicated to get in there, but that's just reaffirming the reason why I don't want to be there.
Yeah, exactly. I get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it. Well, I just feel like if we didn't cover these things, we would, get some hate mail. Like, why didn't you talk about all this stuff? Well, we talked about.
Not like we really did talk about them, but okay.
What'd you say, Damon?
Not like we really talked about them, but
we brought them up.
We acknowledged their existence is pretty much what we did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what there is to talk about with this, right? Like, what are our opinions going to be? It is what it is. That's what my opinion is. There it is.
Yeah.
And again, there's really nothing to say about it until we actually see it in action, because
I would agree with that.
Because we can sit here and speculate about it all day, but I need to see how it actually plays out for people that are getting into the parks, because
and I'd rather speculate about Ice and Geoffrey.
I'm going to explore this whole chewy ice thing now, because
this nugget ice thing, I just I can't believe you guys, and Tom of all people who has Chick-fil-A's, like I don't understand.
I don't know. I thought it was just crushed ice. I don't know all the different ice, flavors and
crushed ice is if you took a frozen solid piece of water and just hit it with a hammer. That's crushed ice. It doesn't make it any chewier. It doesn't make it any less hard. It just makes it crushed.
I just didn't know this was a thing, I guess. I just ice is ice to me.
And coming from a place where it's covered in ice like 8 months of the year sometimes, I guess I don't care to explore all the nuances of it, because I shovel too much of it off of my driveway.
That makes sense. Well, since we're back to talking about ice and we brought this full circle, maybe we should wrap this up.
Yeah. Now that we're back.
Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I think we covered a lot of good ground this week.
Boomtron, right, Damon? Boomtron.
I thought we already talked about that. I appreciate the extra plug at the end, though. So
I'm helping you out here, man. I'm just trying to throw some plugs out for you.
Eventually, like I said, we're going to be doing stuff that may apply to you guys, and you guys can come over and class up the place a little bit.
Class it up. I don't know if I call it that, but okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Let's wrap it up.
Sorry, actually, to follow up again on the Boomtron thing, I have watched most of The Hollow now.
Okay,
and yeah, that is quite an interesting show.
You say, you haven't watched the end yet, though. Of season 1, have you watched
season 1? Yes.
Oh, you did watch the end of season 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that was interesting, right?
It is. Yeah. I liked how it's kind of twisted around, and
Yeah, season 2 is definitely not as good, but it's still interesting.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
We're still worth the watch. I mean, season 2 of Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast was just as phenomenal as season 1. So if anyone hasn't watched that, that's definitely something you can watch with your kids. It's DreamWorks, but it's very.
My son is very much into it now that he's started watching it. So yeah, it's a good show.
Season 2 is really good. So
yeah. Anyway, all right, let's
wrap it up.
Yeah, let's do it. So, anything that you guys heard on this podcast, if you want to send us questions, comments, as usual, you can reach us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. If you would prefer to talk to us on social media, you can hit us on Facebook at Welcome Home Podcast. You can also follow our Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is Welcome Home Pod. Instagram is Welcome Home Pics. You can check out the website if, I don't know, you just want to look at a website, which is welcomehomepodcast.com.
If you just want to see a website that exists.
Yeah.
We're upgrading it, though.
Everyone,
David made his Boomtron website
second.
way nicer than Welcome Home.
and so what I did was I asked both Tom and Trevor to send me a bio and a picture for themselves, and I have yet to receive those. So I can only do what I can do at this point. So once they actually send me what they're supposed to send me, it will be nicer looking.
That's why I didn't say check out our amazing website, because I know that I haven't done my part. So, yes.
Fair enough. I haven't done my part either, but I will. I'll get on it.
I'm trying to write something so I will get you that stuff later.
Wait, what pictures are you guys going to use?
Also,
yeah, I don't know yet.
Part of what I'm figuring out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I want to throw my face out there.
You could use your Facebook avatar.
No, because mine is licensed to a company, and yeah.
No. The Facebook ones that you can auto do from Facebook. Yeah, you can use that.
Those.
Yeah.
Or your Wii icon.
I mean, we've been doing the live shows, so people know what we look like at this point, so I almost don't care if I throw like an actual picture of myself out there, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll get it done.
Anyway,
YouTube.
I'm just going to screen grab it from the video, actually. No, I have to. Now that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to screen grab you guys in the most
unflattering picture possible.
Unflattering picture. I will definitely screen grab an unflattering picture, and that's what I'm going to use. And for bios, I'm just going to make them up.
Dumb look on my face. Oh, yeah, you could just make something up. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. It's cool. I create like a cool history. That's probably better than what the real thing would be. So,
anyway,
YouTube channel.
Yeah, YouTube channel. So, yeah, we do have a YouTube channel. Look for Welcome Home Podcast on YouTube. It is actually us. And as we do more live streams and stuff, you will see more videos up there. Hopefully, we'll be able to see that Geoffrey video or a link to it or somewhere on there.
And the other thing is we're definitely going to have to do this Halloween thing soon.
Oh, yeah. We'll do
especially with what's it called canceled, with Mickey's Halloween party canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely have to do
that. Maybe that'll make sense closer to the actual opening if we do something or
the first weekend it was supposed to open.
Yeah, we can do like a homage to it.
We can do that,
and our whole families can be involved.
I'll do dark theme on the broadcast.
Yeah, I don't know how well that'll work. Anyway,
go on the YouTube channel though.
Yeah. Also, if you guys are looking for some Welcome Home merchandise, you can find it on store.welcomehomepodcast.com. I believe we have masks now. Is that?
We do have masks now. They are enabled. They are available in the store. Yeah, I believe they're $10.
So yeah, you can get a cool mask if you want to, have us on your face. I don't know if that seems attractive to people or not.
Have it on your face while you're walking around the park. Yeah, go ahead, do it.
Yeah. And as usual, if you guys found us on iTunes or Spotify or Google Play, any of those services, we do like getting reviews on there. So we want to hear your feedback. We want to hear comments. And you guys leaving reviews also helps more people find the podcast so we can have more people in the community. So it benefits all of us.
Yeah. And definitely spread the word when you see somebody asking about podcasts and other groups you're a part of.
Oh, yeah. We always appreciate that. We always appreciate that if you do that. So... Of course, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any place you can find a podcast. You can find us. Just search for Welcome Home. Look for the one that talks about DVC and Disney, because as we've noted here before, there are more than one of these Welcome Home podcasts out there. Of course, we're the best one, so only listen to us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, any and all things we say on this show are our own. So please, consult a DVC representative, a cast member for more information about anything we said today. Of course, big thank you as always to DVC Resale Market for being our friends and our sponsor. They are just the best, and we love them. So please check them out if you're looking to buy or sell DVC contracts at resale. Of course, as always, join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion and more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
We do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no